What is going on, everyone? My name is Joseph Reynolds, and today joining me is your current UKFC champion taking on Aaron Givens in his next fight. Ahead of that fight, how you feeling for it, buddy?
Good, mate, yeah. Training's going well. No injuries. Had a slight stiff neck, but other than that, perfect.
Yeah, and as well, this fight's against another really experienced opponent, and you two seem like at the moment in your divisions like some of the most experienced guys that you will find in there at the moment. So, do you feel as though, even though it has the title of an amateur fight, that this can sort of exceed almost the levels of what people expect sort of amateur fighters to do, be at sort of when they're growing?
I think it's going to be a very high level fight. You know, he's going to be game as well, so I'm not looking past him in any way. Just as I'm sure he probably won't do the same for me. But I think everyone will know that it's going to be a high level fight.
Yeah, and as well, obviously, he's been a good year for you again. Obviously, been able to get the wins, been able to get that belt back, coming off the loss where there's a lot going on in the build up to that, and being able to sort of bounce back from that as well. How has the sort of last 12 months been for you, and what are some of the sort of learning curves that you have had?
Well, obviously, like you just stated, the loss that I had in my last one, that was the last loss that I had against Dennis. I took a lot from that. Not at the very start, but over time and reflected upon it, I did. One thing I did come out of that year was that I wasn't really happy with the amount that I fought. I only ended up fighting twice in that year, and I wanted to be more active. So, because I know that I knew back then that I was coming towards the end of my amateur career, and I wanted to push that more, especially this year. So that's why I said to myself that I'd aim for 4 fights this year. So, hence the more productivity on that front.
100%. And do you feel as though this year could be the sort of the last year as an amateur fighter, or is there still more fights after this that you're looking at in terms of an amateur, or are you just sort of taking it by it as it comes at the moment?
This will be the last year. I've got this fight, and then I'll be fighting in December. I'm not sure who yet. I'll get out of the way of this one first, get this problem done and solved, and then I'll look towards December. But I'll be doing my last amateur on December 2nd, I believe it is, or 3rd. I'm not sure what the exact date is, but it's at the very start of December anyway.
Yeah, and as well to sort of look back on your amateur career, you've gone 5 rounds before, you've had knockout wins, submission wins, and been able to get experiences. There's been losses as well. So to have those experiences sort of going into the pro scene next year, do you feel as though, how do you sort of feel the transition is going to be for you when you do go pro next year?
Well, like you said, I'm very fortunate in the position that I am in life to be able to not have rushed it, as maybe some people might feel like they need to. And the experience will pay off evidently in the long term. So I imagine, I hope that the transition will be smooth. I'm not sure what the plan is at the very start of next year. Obviously, my coaches all know what the idea is that I want to move to pro. So I'm not sure how quickly they want that to happen, or the start of the year if they wanted me to do a camp somewhere. I'm not sure. We have to speak about that more so. But I did say to them that I want to deal with this year first before I look too far in the future.
100%. And as well, you sort of mentioned the coaches there, but obviously training out of a good gym as well. They've got the show where they do match with good opponents. It's not just to give you the easy, it's just to build your record. You are given these tough tests to have. So to sort of have the gym there and the show there where you know you're going to be able to grow and become the best version of you sort of as a fighter, what has that sort of been like to have throughout your amateur career? And would you say that that's sort of one of the big reasons why you have been able to have the success that you have had?
Yeah, definitely. They run the show very professionally, and not only that, but UKFC in itself and the gym, they looked after me. They taught me a lot. A lot of all that experience will go towards obviously me going to pro and hopefully making, back to your question before, making that transition smoother. So I believe it would be very beneficial. Yeah.
And as well, it's also a very active gym. There's always guys that are training and competing at the same time or preparing to fight as well. So to have it sort of a constant flow of guys preparing to fight on different shows, whether it's abroad or on the regional scene as well, amateurs and pros, what's that sort of like to be around sort of day in, day out and be able to sort of pit their heads and gather from their experiences that they've been able to have as well?
Well, the main thing is brilliant because the gym's always so busy. So there's always bodies there, which is brilliant because obviously everyone fights all year round. So, you know, that I find is like, well, for me, I like to constantly be training even out of camp just as much as in camp. So I feel like I get the most benefit when everyone else is consistent just as much as I am. So again, very blessed in the position that we're all in, really.
Yeah, and then as well, just sort of taking a look back at the fight, obviously against Aaron Givens, in terms of how you sort of see the fight playing out and what he's going to bring to the cage eventually when fight night does come. How do you sort of see this fight playing out a little bit?
Well, I watched one fight of his, and that was the last fight that he had against Wes. He moves a lot, but everyone moves a lot at the start, so it is what it is. I imagine, I don't know. Things are always open to change. He was happy to stand on the feet, and he was also happy to go to the ground and force that wrestling, especially against the cage mainly. I find it hard to believe that he'll want to initiate that with myself. I think it definitely works in his benefit if he does it against Wes, but whether he will do that or not, I'm not sure. I'd imagine he'd probably want to stay striking, but whatever happens, mate, I'll be ready. So it is what it is.
100%. And to sort of have that sort of the knowledge of knowing that whether it's on the ground or on the feet, you are able to be comfortable in those different areas and sort of knowing that there's areas where you feel as though you'd be stronger than your opponent as well. Do you sort of feel as though it plays into your advantage almost in terms of a mental thing, knowing that you are able to sort of be comfortable wherever the fight does end up taking place?
Yeah, I believe so. I think it gives you composure more than anything. I think if definitely at the start of my amateur career, obviously I understood that I wasn't the the best striker or whatever, and that got shown through my fights, obviously with me wrestling and grappling more so. But obviously as I've got more confidence and trained more and managed to travel and meet different people and spar with different people and whatnot, I feel like it's giving me confidence. So now that I know that I can actually stand, or if I go to the feet or go to the floor, wherever it may go, like you just said. So I think it's composure more than anything that it is giving me in confidence.
Yeah, 100%. And then even as you mentioned there, in terms of being able to train with different people and being at your own gym as well, even from your debut, I'm sure the UK scene's changed quite a lot now in that sense. So do you feel as though sort of being a part of the scene for some time in terms of an amateur, do you feel as though it's changing always? And how do you sort of see the future of the sport being a big part of what could be the great future for the sport as well in this country?
Oof. I My main take on that question would probably be the kids that are from my gym, Northwest Fight Academy. They are good for the age that they are and the time that they've been doing it. I've seen them compete. A lot of them are meant to be fighting as well. I believe the day after. I think September 17th in the same venue. So I've seen the results of their interclubs that they've been doing, but also their empire or like the grappling sort of side of things, and they pick things up quick. So mate, they'll probably be levels ahead of me in like a decade or so. We'll see. But I can only imagine it getting better, to be honest, and people will get more efficient and just more invested in the sport as a whole.
100%. And as well, also, I'm sure some of those fighters have taken points from you in the past as well. So to be able to sort of already be in a position where you can share your knowledge that you've had and teach people, what sort of help does that give in terms of the perspective that you'll have on the sport as well, being sort of sometimes giving points and even a little bit of coaching as alongside sort of being an active competitor as well as a fighter?
I think coaching. I'd say coaching makes you understand the things that you have to teach, because I found personally myself that even though I knew what I was doing in situations, I never knew actually how to explain it. I kind of just took that knowledge for granted in some sense, but then having to, when you're in front of a class and having to try and explain it to the point where people who don't know anything about MMA can actually finally pick things and details up. I found that really hard at the beginning. because I found that I had to explain it to myself and how to talk and how to communicate that what I want them to try and achieve. So I would say you have to basically you get a greater understanding of the details in which techniques that you're choosing to teach. I think that does help. I do actually believe that actually helps in your training, and it reflects onto that as well. Because you're not just doing it for the sake, because you know how to do it. You're doing it because you understand why you're doing it. So I think that's the biggest difference for myself.
100%. And then just a final thing for myself is, obviously, I'm sure a lot of UK fans now, they'll have seen you fight before, but for those that maybe haven't yet, what is it that they can expect to see from yourself come fight night?
I'll be getting that finish. That is 100%. I'm not letting it go 5 rounds again. I've done that too many times recently, and I've got too annoyed at myself. So I've said to myself, the fight is getting finished. So I imagine, he's going to be game as well, and I'm more than sure he'll be thinking the same thing. So we'll see, but I'll be getting that finish.
100%. Well, there you go. That is everything from myself. If you'd like to take a chance at your sponsors, teammates, coaches, anything like that, obviously feel free to go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, all my sponsors, if you check out my Instagram on my link tree, all my sponsors are up there, every single one. Massive shout out to them. Without them, I wouldn't be able to do this. The gyms at high level in Northwest Fight Academy, again, massively helped me throughout all my camps, not just this one, but and my coaches, and also my family as well for supporting me. Even without this, I probably wouldn't even be here. But yeah, thank you to all, and also the people who come and watch and support as well, and get tickets, whether that be on the pay-per-view or in person. Thank you to all.
100%. Well, as always, it's really great to speak to you and appreciate your time. Obviously, next UKFC card, Chris Morris is never one to be missed. Really appreciate your time today, buddy. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.